So official. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I was joking. I was like, every year, this should be our tradition. We just like start Sport Beats in Cannes the
Yep.
first day of the week.
11 a.m.
And then we could just go back 10 years from now and see if all of our predictions and, our thoughts
Okay.
were correct. And we'll just
I
do a
like
sizzle reel. This is mine. So it's now a tradition. So
Year two.
make sure you're always here. It's interesting as we're having this conversation. What's going viral right now is the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers having their reunion. You of course work with Richard Jefferson, but LeBron and J.R. Smith and the whole squad is like back together, which is so cool. I don't think I've seen that too much in sports, where an old championship team like makes a special trip, and just like I don't know, in this era of community and stuff, it's like a feel good story. But tell me a little bit about your thoughts on it and just like how it came to be.
I think it's like a really good time in sports right now with
It is.
It's
I
like the
know.
Knicks,
World Cup.
World Cup, and
Yeah.
then like the Cavs reunion kind of is just like this special sauce sprinkled
Yep.
on top.
Yep.
But I do think that team when they won, I felt like they were like their camaraderie is what
Yeah,
made them
tight
so
knit.
special, and so them to do that again is really cool. And
Yeah.
you never get to see them as themselves,
Right.
so I feel like it's like a very cool peek into them as humans, not as
And as a
athletes.
guy too, I can like relate like the annual fantasy football trip where all the
Yes.
boys get together. Like it's just kind of cool to see those guys do that. I saw an Instagram live too with J.R. Smith, and they were asking him. They're like, who guards Jalen Brunson? The Knicks would beat you guys in your
Yeah.
prime. He's like, who guards LeBron? Who on the Knicks would
Yeah.
guard LeBron? But just like even that debate, to your point about it's such a great time in sports right now. Sports fans can like that, and they start debating about different eras and stuff. But so cool. Saw LeBron with like the magnum of rosé. Just like it's also cool to see athletes like the Tom Brady's, LeBrons, if you will. They're so dialed in during the season to actually be human and be a little messy and like I don't know, just cool to see that now.
Yeah.
You know better than anybody on social. Like, how do you be relatable, unapologetically yourself?
Yes.
Which I'm sure with your clients, you're like, hey, can we
I think it's always obviously understanding where they draw the line, but they're all like, go do it. Like, this is fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it is like a boys' trip, and I feel like they're all laughing. They're all taking content together.
Right.
They did the it's all over. And then it's like, no, we're still going.
because
So
Matthew
like,
Dellavedova now shows up midway through.
yeah, there's like that's all them. So I think it's
That's
a matter
awesome.
for our perspective of what we do is just like how do you put a twist on it? How do you make it funny? How do you like share those little tiny reels that like kind of showcase what they're doing
Yeah.
and their camaraderie without oversharing?
Right.
But I think they're all very into it, so it's kind of fun.
What have you seen since? Because how long have you been with or started the company now? Has it been like 8 years now, or
No, I think it's only been 4.
has it only been 4? I feel like you were just doing
Or
it
maybe
before
it's been
you
5.
officially.
Yes.
But what have you seen the difference? Like maybe in just overall in athletes, their comfortability with like pulling back the curtain a little bit. Because again, we didn't see this 5 years ago. I think where it's like we're going to show you like our behind the scenes get together. So have you seen like a huge shift on just how comfortable athletes are to like share their lives on social?
I think the biggest thing we push for are those little moments of like
Okay.
pull back the curtain, show a little bit, show like what does the locker room look like, what does
Yeah.
the training room look like how do you tie your shoes before you play, like
Fans love that
anything.
stuff. Yeah.
And I think it's a matter of like how do you share without sharing too much. We always say we want to give them a peek backstage but not invite them all the way back.
Yeah.
So it's like just showing those things
Keep the
and
privacy and some
Yeah.
of the intimate stuff.
So I think people are more willing to share now. You just have to know what to capture is the hardest part.
Yep.
It's like kind of obligatory almost to share like that, but I actually think back to the 2016 Cavs, that was Snapchat before.
Yeah.
So they were sharing a lot on Snapchat.
Yep.
It was just in a different medium, so
Yep.
there is an apprehension to like put things on Reels. But I'm
Forever.
but I'm like, if you're gonna do them on stories, they're gonna get ripped by everyone
Yeah, it's
anyways.
true. Right.
So might as well get the views yourself.
And own the
just-
engagement, own the
Yeah.
watermark, if you will.
Yeah.
The Knicks, man, it was incredible to see. I think everybody got around that story. 53 years since they've won a championship, and I just noticed all my casual friends and fans and employees that don't necessarily watch basketball. Like my mom and dad are casual fans. They're texting me after every game, like, "Did you see that? Oh my God, Wemby's so crazy!" And like Jalen Brunson. I'm sure you felt that in your circles as well. But can you talk a little bit like from a social perspective? How to capitalize, like, oh my God, this is like the mecca of everything happening. And if you have an athlete in the finals or on the New York Knicks, like, how do you pounce when?
Well, we call it a surge moment. So it's like
That's a good word. I like
that
that.
happens a lot in like the Olympics, where it's like, hey, you got 2 weeks and you could gain 2 million followers if you do this right.
Yep.
So we always try to prep their account so that they're like discoverable, all those things. The Knicks probably already have that all
Right.
done, but then it's like, how are you preparing for each game? So essentially, we're like, if you lose, you can't post after the loss. But if you wait one day, then you can hype up
Yeah.
the next game.
Right.
So you're almost doing only hype ups for every game versus like recaps. They actually go way more viral if you're doing them
Yeah.
before the game.
Because the hope is alive again. Like now we can win it, come back in the series or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that athletes need to do now is just make sure they're posting at least some organic content versus just all collabs.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
when it's those big moments, you can just sit there and accept 10 collabs, and it will do good for your account. Like, that's fine. But if you can have a unique moment of your own thing, then you're really doing it. And
It seems like the league and the team level, as long as the athletes posting it, they're not too, like from an IP perspective or a highlight, they're pretty much like, just promote the game as we're good with it.
No.
Karl Anthony Towns had an incredible piece he dropped the second they won the championship, talking about tribute to his mother, and it was like very emotional and just really well done. But some of the access and the highlights, I'm like, this is a great piece, but it feels like, and your experience too, that as long as you're talking about the team like in a positive way and stuff, like they're all good if you can use
and
whatever you want.
that was a great example of like being prepared for the moment.
Yeah, right.
There was like, no
The
matter
team behind
what, I
it.
want to say thank you to my mom and reflect on this journey. And so you can kind of plan ahead for those. And I will say, yeah, the athletes, they do get access to all content from the games, and they're fine to share it as long as it's not branded.
Got it. Yeah.
So it's like, and I'm like, what are they going to do? They're going to sue their own athletes for their content
Yeah.
that they're in.
Your star
So-
athlete, like, yeah.
And I think maybe YouTube gets a little more sketchy with copyright issues, but like Instagram, they're never gonna get in trouble for it.
You talked about surge moments. I just think it's interesting as business owners and sports marketers. I look at the Caitlin Clark story with Nike, and they got her junior year at Iowa, and they just now got the shoe out, right? Like her second season, like midway through her second season. There wasn't like a lot of marketing or hero spots or apparel, and that's what, as a marketer, like it kills me to see, because like there's so many surge moments.
True.
Rookie of the year. What happened to Iowa? The national championship when she was in college had more viewers than NBA finals.
Yeah.
And then there just wasn't, you sign the athlete, but you're not capitalizing. I do notice a lot of brands sometimes fumble the bag a little bit. Like you sign the athlete, you see the value, but you're not capitalizing on the surge moments. Do you see that quite a bit as well?
I think so. I think it's challenging probably for a brand to line that up perfectly.
Yeah.
But for this, it's like you kind of have the whole like a season, like you have a lot of time.
You know what's happening.
I think with like shoes, there's probably manufacturing and whatnot that.
Well, it takes longer to make shoes now. Like LeBron, 3 months in, had his shoe. I think Jordan, 7 months in, had his shoe. But it's like, I feel like it's taking longer now.
I know. I don't know, but they should really like when there's moments
Capitalize.
that they know will happen.
Yep.
At least align it to that, because I feel like on social and everything, it's like if you're in the conversation of what's already happening,
Yep.
as you're trying to start your own conversation. I always say it's like a group of people are talking, and if you're like coming in like, hey, I got new shoes.
Yeah, it's an interruption.
And you're like,
Yeah.
what? We were talking about the Knicks. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Or like we're talking about the W, and they're like, hey, like my shoes.
Yep.
So you have to like be in the moment, and they probably did fumble it a little bit
Yeah.
there.
We haven't talked about this yet, but I kind of developed this new framework called FANS. F is for fan first. A is for additive to culture. N is native to platform, making sure it looks like a TikTok or Instagram, not just a linear ad. And then S is shared language. I think shared language, the if you know, you knows, the Easter eggs.
Yes.
In sports, like sports fans geek out about like the inside joke and the if you know, you knows. How do you, I'm sure you leverage that a lot with your different athletes and different clients. Like, is that something that you guys are looking at constantly? Like, how do we, let the fans in on these little inside jokes?
I think it's really important. Like the biggest thing I say is always search the athlete's name on Twitter
Oh, I love
or
this.
TikTok
Yep.
before you even start any idea. Like listen first, and then decide on what your content will be.
I love that.
Because it's like, I remember DeAndre Jordan, we posted something on his TikTok, newly launched, and everyone goes, there's pizza on my Nike, there's pizza on my Nike. And I was like, what is this pizza on my Nike thing? And I looked it up, and it's like,
this is inside joke.
and it was just an inside joke that
Yeah.
the whole Twitter NBA community is in on, and I just find the clip, post it, reply to comment, pizza's on my Nike, and it gets like 5 million views.
So good.
So it's like if you're just listening first.
Yeah.
And actually, the Richard Show, I don't know if you've seen the YouTube
It's
series.
so
he's-
good.
it's
So many viral
good.
clips.
So many viral clips and so many Easter eggs.
Him
He's-
and the Iguodala stuff, like who is a better player? Who had a better back?
Yes.
So good.
But he'll do ones like for Jared McCain, he just wore
Oh,
no
yeah.
shoes. He just wore
You know what he
bare
said?
feet.
Guy, we were hanging out at the State Farm event for a 3-point contest. Richard goes, Jared McCain, I just hate his existence as a human. Like, it's so aggressively funny, but he just like,
No,
that's
he's
Richard.
always like trolling people. He's always
roasting.
trolling.
I hate your
everyone.
entire existence, Jared. I'm like, wow.
To his face. Yes,
yeah.
because he's so happy.
It's so funny.
But for his episode, he just wore no shoes. And it's like,
That-
and then
yeah.
they don't address it,
I
but then the
love it.
fans are like, why is he out here with
Yeah.
no shoes on? Like,
Yeah.
and so there's continuously inside jokes. And I'm always shocked by
Smart.
how much the fans are following along.
Yeah.
Like they get the repetition, they get the thing. So I think it's things like that, and that's hard to do. That takes a lot of
Yeah.
personal EQ to be able to do that. But I think
So
for
smart.
most things,
It's so true.
yeah.
You've seen some of my content too, where I'm like talking in the car, and if my dog's in the back seat, all the comments are like, "Your dog's
Yes.
sleeping, your dog's bored." They're just like they're focused on the background. So almost purposely putting something there, like you said, is like such a smart, engaging tool.
Yeah,
or
and
a
you
hack.
see that some people do like spell something wrong, or they have something weird on their shelf behind them.
Yeah, it's smart.
But it's like, yeah, you're kind of just giving people things to talk about.
Yeah,
And I think if you're ahead of that, you can really win. But I think the easiest across the board is just search what's happening before you.
it seems so simplistic, but so many brands like don't do it. I want to quickly ask, just as a business owner, I think last year the narrative at Cannes was if you're not on AI in every possible way, you're going to be way behind. And like, I even felt as a business owner, like if you don't jump on this right now, you'll be bankrupt in 2 years. Like it was so aggressively.
Yes, still is.
And it still is, but I do think there's been a shift, and especially like when you look at LinkedIn or what have you, the AI slop, where it feels like everybody's using the same below average copywriter, everybody's starting to sound the same.
Yes.
And now it's starting to be like, oh, this isn't truly, I think, the magic pill that everybody thought it was. So I'm just curious as a business owner and what you do every day, like just how you're looking at AI right now.
I think it's like we have to be aware of it and we have to utilize it to make things more efficient. And there's a lot of ways it's helpful. Like I remember we used to have to do SRT files and like write captions. Now every caption,
Automate the boring stuff. Please.
automate the boring stuff.
Yeah.
I have seen a big backlash from big accounts, like athlete accounts. If you post anything AI,
Yep.
people really hate it. Like I've had to take things down.
Yep.
Where they're like, you're stealing this artist's art, or
The
I
Saints and
can't-
Timberwolves just recently came out, so we promised not to use AI, and they got millions of
Yes.
retweets and stuff. So
And you can't see it. And I think the thing that social managers and people need to be most aware of in my perspective is just like not letting copy become just AI. Like a LinkedIn caption
tell.
is so easy to do on
Yep.
on ChatGPT, but I've gotten where you're like, I actually need to remember how to write this. Like you lose
the brain
your,
elasticity. It's
yeah,
true.
and you can tell it's like I'm inspired, overjoyed, and excited for
Yeah.
this announcement.
This is
It's like
this isn't marketing. It's operating a business at scale, like that stupid double sentence. Anyways, last question for you. If someone's listening and they haven't been to Cannes before and they're in sports and they're a marketer, what's the number one thing that you get out of a week like this that maybe someone's like, you know what, I definitely want to go now, or maybe not go, I don't know.
I would say maybe people who've been at like a Super Bowl, NBA All-Star. It's like that except for no normal people. Only CEOs,
It's true.
CMOs, people with like agency
Karin's like, I don't do
owners.
GA anymore, I need
Yeah,
this
no
VIP.
Gen Pop here. It's only like CEOs. So I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's just a very dense amount of smart people that you get to talk
So
to.
true.
And then I think for athletes, it is one of the only places where there's no middleman. So they're like, oh, Zillow, you want to reach 18 to 34-year-old men?
should
And they're like,
chat.
I have that audience.
Yeah.
Like, I can do that. So it's really good because you kind of get to see it.
The layers get removed and just like,
Yes.
let's have a conversation.
And you're not just like doing a brand campaign. You're hearing what they need to accomplish. And so I think it's really valuable for athletes.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Every year we're doing it, Karin.
Okay, here we
We're
go.
breaking down the whole industry every single year at Cannes. Appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course.